Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being here today. We live in a world where eyes wander quickly. We look left, we look right, and often forget to look within. We measure our steps against someone else's path, forgetting that we were never meant to walk their road. Your journey is uniquely yours. No two souls were given the same purpose, the same timing, or the same lessons to learn. But somewhere along the way, many of us have allowed comparison to steal our joy. We scroll, we envy, we doubt, and we shrink. We ask, why am I not there yet? Why don't I have what they have? But comparison is the thief that takes without asking. It steals peace, identity, and the very beauty of your becoming. Growth begins the moment we turn our attention inward, when we stop watching other people's blessings and start watering our own garden. You cannot bloom if your eyes never leave someone else's field. Focus on yourself, on your heart, your steps, your healing. Focus on your craft, your dreams, your spiritual well-being. When you give yourself the love, patience, and effort you've been giving to everyone else, something powerful happens. You begin to rise, and rising does not require noise. It requires nurture. Be gentle with yourself while you grow. Be patient with what is unfolding. Flowers do not bloom by rushing, and neither will you. And when you do, when you rise with authenticity, you inspire others without even trying, not by comparison, not by competition, but simply by being who you are meant to be. So today, choose yourself, choose your peace, choose your growth, choose your journey. Focus on yourself, not others, because who you are becoming is far too important to be distracted by who others already are. Your journey is uniquely yours. No one else can walk it, feel it, or understand it the way you do. Every experience you have, every struggle you endure, and every victory you achieve belongs only to you. Life was never designed to be a race against others. It is a deeply personal process of growth, learning, and becoming. The moment you begin to understand that your life is not supposed to mirror anyone else's, you will start to feel peace settle into your heart. We live in a world where comparison comes so easily. We look around and see people moving faster, shining brighter, achieving more. We start to question ourselves, wondering if we're behind, if we're not good enough, if maybe we're missing something others seem to have. But what we often forget is that every person's story is written differently. The chapters that belong to you are not meant to be the same as someone else's. Your timing, your challenges, your lessons, all are designed specifically for your growth. Think about it. The seed that grows into an oak tree does not envy the rose that blooms quickly. The ocean does not wish to be a river. Everything in nature grows at its own pace, in its own rhythm, in its own season. You too have a season. You too have a rhythm. The more you fight to match someone else's pace, the more you lose touch with your own natural flow. When you stop forcing yourself to be like others, you begin to see the beauty in your own unfolding. There will be moments when life feels slow, when progress seems invisible, and when you feel stuck while others are moving ahead. Those moments are not punishments, they are preparation. Growth often happens quietly, in the unseen spaces where you are being strengthened, tested, and molded into someone capable of handling the blessings that await you. Trust that your delay has meaning. Trust that your process is working for you, not against you. Focusing on yourself does not mean being selfish. It means understanding that your energy is precious and that not everyone deserves a piece of it. It means pouring into your own cup so that when you give from overflow, not from emptiness. It means learning to listen to your own voice, even when the world is loud with opinions. When you focus inward, you start to hear the truth that lives in your spirit, the quiet assurance that you are exactly where you are meant to be. Even if it doesn't look like it right now, you were created with intention. Everything about you, your gifts, your flaws, your story serves a purpose. Stop comparing your path to people who are walking in a completely different direction. What they carry, what they're called to do, and what they're built for may not align with what's meant for you. Comparison blurs clarity. It makes you forget how powerful and capable you already are. Instead of measuring your worth against someone else's highlight, start measuring it by your progress, by the lessons you've learned, by the strength you've built through every trial. When you truly begin to focus on yourself, you start to grow in silence. You stop seeking validation and start creating your own. You stop trying to prove your value and start embodying it. You learn that peace is found not in being ahead, but in being aligned with your purpose, your values, and your truth. You begin to appreciate the small wins, the unseen efforts, and the quiet progress that no one else notices. You begin to celebrate yourself for simply continuing, even when it's hard. Your journey will not always be understood by others. People may doubt your choices, question your pace, or fail to see your vision. But that's okay. It was never their journey to understand. You do not need the world's approval to validate your direction. You only need your own belief. The more you honor your path, the more you attract what is meant for you. Life responds to authenticity. The universe supports those who choose themselves fearlessly, who walk their road with courage even when no one else claps for them. Your journey is a masterpiece in progress. Every scar is a story. Every setback is a lesson. Every step, no matter how small, is a part of your becoming. You are not behind. You are unfolding exactly as you should. When you stop comparing, when you stop chasing after someone else's timeline, you finally begin to live yours fully. You discover that peace, happiness, and fulfillment were never somewhere out there. They were always within you, waiting for you to come home to yourself. Comparison steals joy and identity. It creeps quietly into the heart, often without us realizing it. It begins with a glance at someone else's success, someone else's beauty, someone else's achievements. And then slowly it starts to whisper that who we are is not enough. The moment we begin to compare ourselves to another person, we stop seeing our own value. Our accomplishments suddenly feel small, our dreams seem distant, and our journey becomes something we question rather than something we honor. The truth is that comparison is rooted in the belief that life is a competition, that there is only one way to be worthy, celebrated, or successful. But life is not a race with a single finish line. Every person has a different path, different timing, and different purpose. When we compare, we ignore that our story was never meant to mirror someone else's. We forget that what is right for another person may not be right for us. We forget that what makes us unique is the very thing that makes us valuable. Comparison also blinds us. It prevents us from seeing the beauty in our own journey. Instead of recognizing how far we've come, we become fixated on how far someone else has gone. Instead of celebrating our growth, we question why our progress doesn't look like someone else's. This constant measurement against others creates an internal dissatisfaction that can never truly be fulfilled because comparison has no finish line. There will always be someone ahead in one area and behind in another. There will always be someone with something we don't have. If our happiness depends on being better than someone else, we will always feel lacking. Identity begins to fade when comparison takes control. We start to change not because we want to grow, but because we want to be like someone else. We adjust our personality, our behavior, our passions, even our dreams to fit an image that was never meant for us. The things that once made us feel proud and true to ourselves suddenly seem inadequate. The unique voice within us becomes drowned out by the noise of outside expectations. Instead of embracing who we are, we try to fit into a version of someone else's reflection. The danger in comparison is that it always looks outward, never inward. It focuses on what others have rather than what we carry. It highlights someone else's strengths while magnifying our insecurities. But what it does not show is the full truth. It does not show the struggles behind someone's success, the battles behind their confidence, or the pain behind their smiles. Comparison paints illusions. It convinces us that others have perfect lives while we are the only ones who struggle. Yet every person you compare yourself to has moments of doubt, fear, and challenge that you simply do not see. Comparison also takes away gratitude. It shifts our attention from what we have been blessed with to what we lack. Gratitude is the foundation of contentment, and when comparison replaces gratitude, satisfaction becomes impossible. We begin to overlook the small joys, the quiet progress, the personal victories that deserve recognition. We forget to appreciate our life because we are too busy measuring it against someone else's. The more we compare, the more we lose ourselves. Instead of growing in our own direction, we become trapped in a cycle of imitation. Instead of loving ourselves for who we are, we become frustrated with what we are not. And slowly, without noticing, we hand over our joy, our identity, and our peace to something that was never meant to guide us. But when we step away from comparison, something powerful begins to happen. We start to see ourselves clearly again. We rediscover our strengths, our passions, and our purpose. We recognize that our journey has value simply because it is ours. We learn to celebrate others without diminishing ourselves. We learn to appreciate who we are becoming, not because we are better than someone else, but because we are growing into someone we can be proud of. We begin to understand that joy is found in authenticity, not in measuring up. Identity is found in self-awareness, not in imitation. Peace is found when we stop looking outward for validation and start looking inward for truth. When we stop comparing, we finally create space to become the person we were always meant to be. Growth starts with self-awareness. It begins in the quiet moments when you choose to look within rather than outside yourself. Self-awareness is the ability to notice your own emotions, thoughts, patterns, and behaviors without running from them or denying them. It is the honest acknowledgement of who you are right now, even if that truth is uncomfortable. Many people want to grow, evolve, and become better, but very few are willing to face themselves deeply. Real growth is not about changing what is visible to the world. It is about understanding what is hidden inside the heart and mind. Self-awareness asks you to pause and observe yourself without judgment. It teaches you to ask meaningful questions. What do I truly want? What triggers my frustration? What brings me peace? What habits are holding me back? What beliefs have I outgrown? These questions are not always easy because the answers often reveal parts of ourselves we have ignored. Sometimes self-awareness shows us our wounds. Sometimes it reveals our strengths. Sometimes it confronts us with the truth that we have been living in a way that does not align with our deepest values. Yet it is this very honesty that becomes the foundation for growth. Many people move through life reacting rather than responding. They repeat the same mistakes, fall into the same emotional patterns, and wonder why nothing changes. Without self-awareness, life becomes a cycle of repetition. You cannot change a pattern you refuse to see. You cannot heal a wound you refuse to acknowledge. But when you become aware of your inner world, you begin to understand yourself, not as a collection of habits, but as a living, growing being with the power to shift, to choose, and to transform. Self-awareness also involves understanding your emotions rather than being controlled by them. Emotions are signals, not instructions. They are meant to guide you, not to rule you. When you feel anger, instead of allowing it to explode outward, self-awareness invites you to ask why you feel this way. When you feel sad, it encourages you to explore the source rather than suppress it. When you feel joy, it teaches you to notice what aligns with your soul. Through awareness, emotions become messages that show you what needs attention, care, or change. Another part of self-awareness is recognizing your strengths. Many people are quick to notice their flaws, but slow to acknowledge their gifts. Growth is not just about fixing what is broken. It is also about nurturing what is good. When you recognize your strengths, you begin to understand what makes you unique, capable, and powerful. You begin to use your talents intentionally instead of unconsciously. You stop underestimating yourself and start stepping into your potential. Self-awareness also means being aware of your environment and how it influences you. The people you surround yourself with, the content you consume, the conversations you engage in, and the habits you repeat all shape your identity. Growth requires noticing what supports you and what drains you. Sometimes self-awareness leads to difficult decisions, stepping away from relationships that hurt you, letting go of habits that numb you, creating boundaries that protect your peace. These choices can feel uncomfortable, but discomfort is often the sign that growth is taking place. Through self-awareness, you begin to take responsibility for your life. You stop blaming others for your circumstances, and you stop expecting life to change without your participation. You realize that you are not powerless. You understand that growth is something you choose every day through small actions, conscious decisions, and mindful reflection. You learn that healing and transformation are not sudden, they are gradual, often quiet, and deeply personal. Self-awareness brings clarity. When you know yourself, you stop being easily influenced, controlled, or directed by the world. You stop seeking approval because you learn to approve of yourself. You stop comparing yourself to others because you recognize the value of your own path. You stop fearing change because you understand that growth is part of your purpose. In this way, self-awareness becomes the foundation of personal evolution. It opens the door to emotional maturity, inner peace, and genuine confidence. It creates space for learning, healing, and becoming. Growth does not begin with external achievements. It begins with the decision to see yourself clearly and to remain present with yourself as you transform.